We are now live.
I can call the meeting to order at 12:35 PM. And the first thing I'll do is read the territorial land acknowledgement. Before our meeting gets underway, I would like to formally recognize the traditional keepers of this land and specifically our neighbors of the Alderville First Nation with a formal territorial acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the Township of Alnwick Haldeman is located on the Mississauga Anishinaabeg territory and is the traditional territory of the Mississauga Anishinaabeg. The Township of Alnwick Haldeman respectfully acknowledges that the Mississauga Nation are the collective stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. Moment of silence for our fallen soldiers and citizens. Funerary interest. As circulated, and we did have one addendum on it. Be it resolved that the agenda with the addendum for the regular council session of Thursday, January 13th, 2022 be approved as circulated. Have a mover, please. Councillor Hogg, all in favor? Our council session minutes of December 16th, 2021. Be it resolved that the regular council session minutes of Thursday, December 16th, 2021 be approved. Have a mover. Deputy Mayor Gibson, all in favor? From those minutes?
Mayor Latchford, I just wanted to let you know you're cutting in and out a wee bit with your sound.
Oh, I'm on the wrong speaker. I have to move.
We'll go over one that way.
Okay. Can we move the speaker?
No, you have to go there.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Zoom never gets easier.
Ugh, it's getting worse and worse. So our next item is item 8, and it's a delegation. It's a presentation by Dave McGlennon, WWD McGlennon Insurance Broker Limited, with our 2022 Township Insurance Program. Hello, Dave. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
I hope you
Well,
can hear me this year.
We can hear you.
Good.
So we'll let you go ahead and take us through this.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, 2022, it doesn't seem to have gotten much better for any of us. Hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. We managed to get through 2021 and we can get through 2022. Insurance companies, as you'll notice, you had about a 15% increase this year. I don't like to start with the bad news, but it's not something that we can avoid. Those of you who've been around for years, on council for a few years, may notice, and I think it started last year, your former company, Frank Cowan, is now branded Intact Public Entities. And we've had some pretty major changes over the last 3 years in the big players of municipal insurance. There still aren't any new players, which is bad news because there's not a lot of competition. We have seen rates across the board, especially for smaller municipalities, which Alderman, as you know, is one, and the challenges don't get any easier for the smaller municipalities, no matter what it is: infrastructure, HR, fleets, purchasing vehicles. It's very difficult. What we had in 2021 in terms of claims, very minimal. I did outline in my covering letter that there are a couple of outstanding claims with not a large amount of reserve in them. I think it's 26,000. Over the last 10 years, we did have payouts of 825,000 roughly, and deductibles paid by the municipality included in that amount are around 70,000. One thing I would like to point out as well in the insurance program, your property deductible, the property values have gone up roughly 3% to deal with inflation, and building costs, it probably is adequate, maybe not for building costs, but the idea is that you're not going to lose every structure at once. So the replacement cost is still there, and it applies on all municipal buildings. Deductibles, 5,000 deductible on property is excellent. It's low compared to what we're seeing in the industry. 25,000 is the liability deductible. That's still pretty good. We're seeing imposed deductibles of 50,000 on liability. So especially in the case of Alnwick Haldeman, where if you've got to cough up $5,000 for a claim, that's better than 25. 25,000 on a liability claim, not great, but it's still better than a lot of what's out there in the industry. The other coverage that is still there, and we did make use of it a couple of years ago, is replacement cost on vehicles. We're seeing that being taken away in other programs. That colleagues of mine have lamented that it's just not available. Now, if you have all brand new vehicles, actual cash value probably isn't a big issue. If you've got a 10-year-old, 15-year-old vehicle, depreciation can account for a lot. So that impacts a township of your size. Deductibles we discussed over the years. And again, the savings to increase the deductible is not worth it. In terms of the program, I'm not sure what details you would like me to go over. Counselor accident has not increased. It's 250,000. They did outline a cheaper option, but I don't think that's something that council wants to deal with or consider, in my opinion. For the premium, it's not worth savings. We're looking at the cyber insurance has also increased incredibly. The coverage, I don't know if you noticed on the date on the receipt of the quote, it was December 24th before they could get the quotes to me. And they range, I think the one I recommended is similar to what you had last year. Last year you paid $4,300. This year they're quoting $5,900, and the options go up to over $7,000. The underlying coverages are the same as you had last year, $250,000. Last year you had an aggregate amount of $250,000. This year the aggregate is $1 million. So those are something. The details I can certainly go over with staff over the next couple of weeks to see. I don't think a township of your size requires the higher limits. The exposure doesn't warrant it, but that would be something for staff and council to consider. And beyond that, there hasn't been a whole lot of change. The cyber liability, yeah, as you know, we had a total loss of a fire vehicle a couple of years ago, I think now, and it was subject to replacement costs. So that's a really beneficial. Now the premiums under the auto have gone up substantially, but that's just across the board for commercial vehicles. It's something that we're seeing. And if there's any other points that you want me to elaborate on in the report, it's a long report. Most of the 40 some odd pages you've seen before, it hasn't changed. As I say, a lot of it is the same. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Before I get council asking you questions, I should have done this motion first. So
Okay.
to allow you to speak, so I'll do it now before we get totally finished. Be it resolved that council permit Dave McGlennon, WWD McGlennon Insurance Broker Limited, to take the floor to present the township's insurance program for 2022. Have the mover, please. Sir Philip, all in favor? Carried. Okay. Council, do you have any questions for Dave? Dave, is there any further companies that could provide insurance coverage that can be contacted?
There are basically
Or less costing, I'm thinking.
Yeah. In the province of Ontario, there are 4 main players. Intact, formerly Cowan, Marsh, which was formerly JLT, Jardine Lloyd Thompson.
Yeah.
I believe Aon has a small program. I have contacted Marsh with companies being purchased. I think Marsh purchased JLT in April of 2019. They saw a fairly major shakedown in their personnel over the last couple of years. And it's been a challenge. Another challenge is when so many, I think we had 10 municipalities that amalgamated in the year 2000 in Northumberland County alone. 10 went into 5. So we have a 1st of January renewal date, and you've got all these programs that are scrambling, October, November, December. I've been trying to get answers for 2 or 3 months from different companies. And I have approached other markets. I'm still waiting. I have a window with Intact because I know there is another market that may be willing to quote. The difficulty is what we're seeing in all realms of commercial insurance, which municipal insurance is one of them. The minimum premiums are increasing. So whereas 10 years ago, they might issue a program for 250,000, that minimum premium is rising. That's before you get into claims experience, individual property coverages, vehicle coverage, that sort of thing. So they just can't go below a certain amount, or they're not willing to because of reinsurance costs, claims experience, and a myriad of things. So Intact public entities and Marsh and all the other programs, they reinsure these policies, whether it's through Lloyd's or various companies. So we're impacted not just municipally in Ontario, but across Canada, North America, the world. But we do have a window of 90 days that I'm still looking at other markets, and I will, if something comes back that is really worthwhile, or even anything comes back, I'd be happy at this point to present to you. I will do that.
Okay.
Definitely. But I know one in particular that has provided lower premiums, but they do not provide replacement cost on vehicles, and they do impose higher deductibles. So the problem with higher deductibles, when you do have a claim or claims, that basically adds to the cost of your insurance. So
Maybe that's something staff and council need to have a little discussion on and see what those options would actually be if we didn't go that route. And I mean, it's nice to have the full replacement, but if the insurance is so high,
yes,
it's coming to a balance, trying to get to a balance. And are we still targets to be insured? Municipalities or not insured?
be sued.
Sued? I know for a while it was insure the or sue the municipality.
Yes, I think you are, in terms of roads and slips and falls in parking lots and that sort of thing. It is a target, but the risk management within the municipality by staff has improved. Road maintenance has improved dramatically. So we haven't seen as many of the traditional claims. There's a lot of HR related incidents, you might say, with wrongful dismissal suits. We're still seeing a rise in. But I think between the municipalities' risk management, which has improved greatly, and legal advice, I think those are diminishing. So never say never. You just don't know in this business. A lot of it's the luck of the draw, but your claims experience in the last year or two has been pretty good.
Okay, thanks. Deputy Mayor Gibson would like to ask a question, and then Councillor Phil.
Thank you, Mayor Latchford. I didn't have my hand up, but I will take this opportunity to just say that I do believe that the cyber insurance is especially important. It doesn't take much, and I know we're seeing more and more of it, and it does, with staff leave us, and I guess council leaves us open. So that would be certainly a coverage that, I'm adamant that we have appropriate coverage on.
I agree.
Going to speak about?
I think, yes, thank you. I'm finding it hard to hear everybody, but I'm here now. Dave, I'm wondering if there's any move by municipalities to start bundling between themselves or with, in our case, maybe the county or other municipalities close by to try to get a better rate. Does that philosophy in place in any place in the province, or is it even feasible economically?
There, when I started, I'm sounding like an old fart now, but 40 years ago, I started in the business. The municipalities did try a reciprocal type of arrangement where they self-insured. And that went on for several years. And they hired administrators to run the program. The difficulty was you had municipalities like cities of Pickering, Ajax, London. So they were lumped in with the Alnwick, Haldimans, the Crammys, the Brightons. So it was fine for a while, but when the claims started coming in, they were getting assessments, to much like a condo board would assess for losses not insured. So that was something that just wound down about 3 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago. I suppose a conspiracy theorist in me would say maybe that's a reason why these other programs have ramped up their minimum, quote unquote, minimum premiums for municipalities, because there is no option out there. I think it is being discussed, probably at Roma or your different municipal. It has to be discussed amongst municipalities, because the rate at which municipal insurance is increasing is alarming, especially for smaller municipalities. It's really another thing that comes to my mind, and it's not entirely insurance related, but can 5 municipalities carry a fire department? Can you have 5 works departments? Can you have, are you looking at a regional government? I don't know. Are there savings there? That's where I personally think it's headed. I don't want it to head that way, but there are, I know in prior years, municipalities have tried to partner with the county on different issues in terms other than insurance to sort of get the most bang for their buck on certain services. But I haven't heard of anything yet from insurance.
Okay, so it wouldn't come from us then, is what you're saying. We couldn't phone, Hamilton Township and say, hey, we're looking for a better deal on insurance. Are you interested in the next budget to combine and have a common quote? It's not as easy as that, is what you're saying.
The township of Hamilton, for example, I don't know how that would work, to be honest. I think there would be difficulties with who the vehicles are registered to, who the properties are deeded to, all that sort of thing. That might, I don't think that's an option yet. I haven't seen that, no.
Okay, thank you.
Where, the county's coming this far, lifting the plow, and vice
Gail-
versa.
Gail, you're still cutting in and out there.
Oh, okay. I just was using the example of Public Works where county and township plows meet, lift the plows and drive down the very roads that the other one is plowing. And I think if we looked at the rural municipalities around us and created a shared service, people really don't want that. And I think the councils really don't want that at this time, but it may be an opportunity for savings on insurances, et cetera.
Yes.
And I think we're going to be forced at some time to look at those options as well.
They've tried it in the past at a provincial level, certainly, yes.
Yeah. So comes down to that, the bottom dollar.
Definitely.
Any further questions or comments for Dave? I think I'll put the motion forward that we have Dave for 2022 insurance. Look further for further information before our final decision is made. And if he contacts any other insurance companies, as he said he would, and see if we can get back with some of that costing and have more of a comparison. Are you okay with that, Dave, as well?
Yeah, sure. As I say, I have contacted other markets. I'm still waiting to hear back. I will also inquire into savings if the replacement cost coverage on vehicles. I can't imagine it would be more than $2,000 or $3,000. So,
Okay,
but I will look into that definitely. Yes,
okay, thanks.
and I would hope to hear probably within a month. So maybe in end of February or something.
Okay. Could I have a mover on that motion, please? And second by Councillor Booth. All in favor? Here, Mike.
I can hear, but I can't hear you now, Madam Mayor. But I could hear you previously.
Okay. You're okay with that then? Hey, Dave. Good to see you. Do you have
Thank you.
anything else for us?
No, I think that's it. Thank you.
No good news, Dave?
Yeah,
No, not much good news. No.
and all the municipalities are facing this, I understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. Yeah. And it's as I say, the minimum premium is increasing. That's where we're at. I'm not saying that in 5 years' time it'll be $500,000, but who knows? We need more competition. That's what we need.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. It's good to see you
Thank you.
and Happy New Year.
Thanks. Same to you. And I'll hope I will talk to you next month.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
item is item 9, and it's a report from Jennifer Steen. Be it resolved that the report from Jennifer Steen, Parks, Recreation and Culture Coordinator, dated January 13th, 2022, read Parks, Recreation and Culture Update, be received and filed. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Sherry, second. Mike? Do you have any questions for Jennifer on this one? Any comments from you, Jennifer? Pretty straightforward.
Yes, thank you. I wouldn't mind just thanking our sponsors for the holiday skates in December at the arena, and that's Jacqueline Pennington Remax and the Grafton Community Sports and Event Committee. And I also just wanted to thank staff who kept the arena safe and open over the holidays for these events, as well as our Skate with Santa and our Paint the Ice event, which I know were well attended. I also just want to say congratulations to Tracy Macklin, who was the winner of the Winter Wonderland light display and contest. And she has been contacted and will receive her prize, but just wanted to thank everyone who participated and made the holidays a bit brighter in the township. Thank you.
Good. And thank you, Jennifer, for all your work. All in favor? That's the first one, 10.1, is the lease agreement with Bell Canada. Be it resolved that the report from Pat Kemp, acting clerk, dated January 13th, 2022, release agreement with Bell Canada be received and filed. And further, that council directs staff to prepare the necessary bylaw for the February 3rd, 2022 meeting to authorize the mayor and acting clerk to execute an agreement to lease property located at 432 Edwardson Road in Grafton to Bell Canada for a telecommunication tower. Can I have a mover? Or any first?
I'm sorry, did you ask me anything? I couldn't hear you.
I said, do you wish to speak to this?
I just wanted to make council aware that even though it's November 30th, 2023, when the agreement takes effect, they need 18 months to get prepared in case a municipality doesn't agree with it and they'd have to find a new location. So that's why we're doing it so far in advance. So.
Okay. Any questions from council? No? All in favor? Carried. Item 10.2. This is the revised 2019-2024 multi-year accessibility plan. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Alnwick Haldeman receive and file the report on the revised 2019 to 2024 multi-year accessibility plan prepared by the acting clerk dated January 13th, 2022. And further that the revised 2019-2024 multi-year accessibility plan be posted on the township's website. And further that staff bring back a report at a later date on accessibility upgrades required for the Haldeman Memorial Community Center and the Alnwick Haldeman Municipal Office. Could I have a mover? Sherry, second. Councillor Philp. Any questions or comments on this? I thought it was pretty straightforward. All in favor? From Pat Kemp, acting clerk, Canada Summer Jobs. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Alnwick Haldeman receive the acting clerk's report dated January 13th, 2022 regarding the Canada Summer Jobs. And further that staff be directed to apply for 6 positions, being 2 for Public Works, 3 for Parks and Recreation, and 1 for planning for a 16-week period. And further that the township share be allocated to the applicable departments. Have a mover? Councillor Phillips, second by Councillor Hogg. Not in any way?
I'm sorry, pardon?
Say about this one?
So I just wanted to make council
Summer
aware that the report itself has what the maximum that the township could apply for. So I contacted the department heads to find out what summer students they would require. And so that's where the numbers came up. And then based on their departments, so Parks and Rec and Public Works are a 40-hour work week. And then planning is a 35-hour work week. And then I just took what the maximum that is allowed. So you're allowed to have a minimum of 6 weeks or a maximum, up to a maximum, sorry, of 16 weeks. And that's based on the chart that's shown under the financial impact. If council choose to stick with the money that is allocated in each department's budget, we can narrow down the number of weeks to like 10 or 12 in order to hit their budget figures. So I just wanted to let council know that the report itself is based on what the maximum we could allow or could apply for. However, if council want us to stay within the budget that's been allocated, then we would just reduce the number of weeks and the number of students.
Council, with this motion, do you want that decision today, Pat?
I have to file the application by the 25th of January.
Okay. Council, Cherry?
I just think that more and more responsibility is falling to Parks and Rec in terms of upkeep of our green spaces. So I can't see cutting back too much on that. And I know Public Works is always, appreciated having that additional staffing in the summer with the students. The only one that I would question and I don't think we've had a planning student before, but if it's an opportunity for us to get caught up on some work, for the amount of money that it's going to cost, I don't have an issue with that.
Okay. Pat, do you want to answer those?
So the planning student is someone who would come in and attach the GIS mapping to our property files. So it's something that needs to be done, and it's one of those jobs that we don't get time to do. So having a student in would assist us in carrying out that activity. And as far as the Parks and Rec, I know Jen, she was online, sorry. So Brian had indicated that Parks and Rec wanted 3 students. And I think Deputy Mayor Gibson is correct. We've taken on more responsibility in the Parks and Rec department. And so that individual would be worth their money. So.
But planning may be a few less hours.
Yes, it's only 35 hours a week, just because of the schedules. Parks and Rec and Public Works work 40-hour work
40.
weeks. Yeah.
Okay. So how much is this adding extra into our budgets that we've already got?
So for Public Works, we allocated 3,000, Parks and Rec 4,000, and planning 3,900. So based on a 16-week, we would be over budget. But if we reduce the number of weeks to 10 weeks and only allowed 1 student per department, we would come within our budget.
Yeah, I guess I have a question. So explain to me, Pat, if we came to budget and we approved what was budgeted, I know we're applying for the maximum. So when is that decision made? Does the managers come back to us in the summertime and say they need a student another week or 2? Or this is something I don't understand. Like if you applied in October, it should have been, this is what you wanted, right? So I'm kind of at a loss for.
So this,
This is the
grant.
maximum.
Yeah, so this grant was announced last week for a total of 16 weeks. The departments, how they generated the amount of money that they put in their budget, I can't speak to that, sorry. I don't know if the CAO is aware how they came up with those numbers. I was just taking the maximum that we would be allowed to have a student and came up with the maximum number. So I know it's going to be over budget. And excuse me, but because the grant is based on 50% funding, that's how I brought it forward to you.
So
But I'm saying if you want it to be within the budget that's allocated, then we just cut down the number of weeks that we hire a student for.
right, so it doesn't make a difference in the application. You can put this down. That's a maximum. If they only work to what we had budgeted, that's the only cost that we get back from the program, right?
That's correct. And sometimes too, when they do the granting of the approval, that what Summer Canada Jobs will do is they'll say you can have a student for 10 weeks. They won't pay you for the full 16 weeks. So based on whatever and what I've seen done in the past too, is when you go to advertise for students, you put it's pending on funding. So if we only get funding for 10 weeks, we'd only hire them for 10 weeks.
Okay, so that makes sense. Apply for the maximum, and then if the government decides to cut you down a little bit, you probably still get what you want, which is good. I'm just a little concerned is during when these students are employed, hopefully the managers are making sure that they stick to the budgeted amount. And if for any reason they have to go over, for example, the summer students cutting the grass, if it's a bad year for cutting grass or whatever, they have to come back or at least go to the CAO to get approval to go over on budget.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, anything further? All in favor? 4. This is our fees and service charges. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Alnwick Haldeman receive the acting clerk's report dated January 13th, 2022 regarding fees and service charges, and further that staff be directed to bring the fees and services charges bylaw to the February 3rd, 2022 council meeting for adoption. Could I have a mover, please? Second. Okay. You've had an opportunity, council, to review these. And are there any comments or questions? Councillor Booth?
Just through you, your worship, to Pat. So Pat, I'm guessing staff has reviewed it, and do these fees sort of mesh with what other townships are doing too? Are we way out of line? Are we way behind right now? Or does this make us sort of the medium type?
I did not check with other municipalities. If council would like me to do that, I can. I did ask each of the departments, and once the bylaw was updated, I presented it to them and the staff so that they were able to review it and let me know if there's any changes that were needed. So for instance, the civic address one, we have it at $50, and Daryl had suggested that we increase that to 75 because we're not covering the costs at the current time when you take into consideration the blade and the pole and someone going out and installing it. So
Mr. Gilmore?
I will say that I have met with and spoke with most department heads, and they are within the industry that they're involved with. So they are right on line with everyone else. And I can really talk about obviously the roads. It's taken a few years, but we were really low, but now we're on par with municipalities, townships our size. So we're good.
And I can't recall that we've had huge increases along the way. No. I do have a question though about minimum Interac debit machine transactions. It's on page 121. Does that mean that if somebody comes in, uses their debit card to pay taxes or another bill, that they're charged an extra 10?
I believe what they were looking at is if it's, say, a $5 transaction, that there would be a fee to pay, a fee to use the debit machine, just because it costs the municipality money to offer that service. But no, if somebody were to come in and pay their taxes, then we wouldn't be charging them a minimum debit fee.
Okay, so should we have it in there then that it's a minimum, based on a minimum amount?
That would be more clarification. Yes, we can do that.
Yeah, okay, because I think that needs to be a little bit clearer. Maybe that was the only one I had a question about.
Yep. No, thank you.
Any further questions? Calling for the vote, all in favor? Carried. Five is the file image data server, which we've talked about. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Alnwick Haldeman receive and file the acting clerk's report dated January 13th, 2022 regarding the file image data server, and further that council concurs with the purchase of the new file image data server at a cost of $20,427 plus HST, and further that the cost be taken from the modernization fund. Can I have a mover? Councillor Hogg, second. Councillor Phillip. Any questions or comments? We've discussed it a few times. Do you have a question? Is your hand up, Mike?
Yes, it is. Thank you through the mayor. Just wanted to be assured that we did go through the quote system to make sure that there were 3 quotations, as it's a fairly expensive item. Thank you.
No, we did not. If council wants to defer this and have me go through that process, I can. Originally, we were going to have the file hold system starting in January, so we were kind of under a time crunch. But because of COVID, we've put it on hold for the time being. So if council want to defer this and have me go out for quotes, I can do that.
What's your wish, council? Councillor Booth?
I guess my question is, as Councillor Mike mentioned too, is this something the data server is a proprietary thing that has to be with the company that we went with for the I guess what I'm trying to say is this tied in with that other one, Pat, or is this totally on its own? Can we get 3 quotes? Is this something that?
It is tied in with the company that we are getting the file hold management system with. However, who supplies you with the server is a separate issue. So in hindsight, yes, I should have went out for 3 quotes.
So then I would agree with Councillor Mike that I think it's good that we should follow the policy and go out there
Yep.
and get the 3 quotes would be good.
Yep, not a problem.
Okay, I need to reword this motion a little bit.
So if you just ask for staff to
Get the 3
obtain
quotes.
3 quotes for the new server and bring back a report, we can do that.
Okay, so further that council requests 3 quotes for the purchase of the new file image data server. That motion, Jim?
I'm good with that motion.
Okay, and Mike is obviously all in favor. Carried. Item 11 is our committee reports. Be it resolved that the library board meeting minutes of July 12th, 2021, September 13th, 2021, October 4th, 2021, October 18th, 2021, November 8th, 2021, and November 20th, 2021. The Heritage Alnwick Haldeman Committee meeting minutes of December 31st, 2021, and the Grafton Communal Water Committee meeting minutes of October 20th, 2021 be received and filed. Have a mover, please. Favor? Carried. I just would like to say maybe to Troy, there's 6 library board minutes there. And we've gone through quite a bit of time. I'm wondering if you can that because they go way back to July and we've made decisions since that, you know, had we had minutes.
I didn't hear most of that question there, Mayor. Sorry, you're cut out.
This mic's no good either.
I think-
Okay, I just make it a little quicker to have 6 library board minutes come in the new year. And they go back as far as July 2021. I think that there needs to be some improvement there, however you want to handle it. But I mean, to have minutes come within a meeting or 2 of council is fine, but in my opinion, this is too long.
Yep, no
I'll
worries.
leave it in your hands.
I'll speak with the CEO. That's fine.
Okay. Item 12, communications. 12.1, correspondence from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. Be it resolved that the correspondence from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, re-notification to Head of Council, regulations for Bill 13th, 13 and Bill 276 be received, and further that council direction is required. Now, I asked Pat to put it on this.
Excuse me, Mayor Latchford.
Yes,
I think this is a really important piece of discussion. And I do have to, I've got a task I've got to complete. I'm asking if I could put forward a motion that we take a 5-minute recess.
yes, that's fine.
And
And maybe I can switch mics again. Okay. we'll
so we
come back
don't
in.
need, we don't need to sign out of the Zoom meeting. We're just on a 5-minute
Yeah,
recess. Okay,
okay.
thank you.
We need a
I'm
mover and a
back in.
seconder to do that. Moved by Sherry, second by Greg. All in favor? Carried.
I'm back in. I was kicked out for about 5 minutes or so.
Oh, we're taking a 5-minute break.
Okay, thank you.
This year and get some new mics or something.
Can you hear me out there?
Can you hear me?
Yep. I can.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess it's working.
okay.
The mayor's on her third location.
Musical chairs.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
crazy. Very, very poor communication link for me today.
I'm at home today, so I didn't want to risk it.
Mine's
What are
usually
Liam's-
fine.
What are Liam's symptoms, Mike?
He has a running nose, a bit of a cough, had quite a bad headache yesterday. And
You're being recorded.
that took, oh, sorry. Yeah. So that's it.
Okay. I'll call the meeting back to order at 1:35. Communications 12.1. And as I was saying, I asked Pat to put it on this meeting first because I think as many people that can hear it or are aware of it will be good. And hoping that council will move this also to the planning meeting for some further discussion and information and understanding. So I'm going to read that, and Sherry has a comment as well. Be it resolved that the correspondence from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, re-notification to Head of Council, regulations for Bill 13 and Bill 276 be received, and further that and council direction is needed. So could I have a mover, please? Want to make a comment, Sherry? You want to make a comment?
The problem is I have a classroom going on behind me and I'm not sure how much of that is coming through my microphone. So I just
a little
think
bit.
this is a very, very important in terms of our township specifically. And I think it deserves the time for us to spend on taking it to planning and really educating on ourselves on what this is going to mean to us moving forward.
And our residents as well.
Yeah.
Yes, so we can have this come on at the planning meeting as well and ask Jennifer to take it apart and explain it to us exactly what it will mean in the different, under the official plan and the zoning bylaws. Is council in agreement with that? I need a seconder to the motion.
Oh, I second it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jim
sure.
seconded,
Yeah.
okay. I got notes all over it.
Yeah, I
From
agree
anyone?
through the mayor. I agree with both of you. This is going to be fairly significant, and no one better to review it than Jennifer for us. And I'd like to move it forward to the planning agenda.
Okay. So that will be, and further that council move it forward to the planning department for a report back and discussions.
Yeah.
At this point?
No.
Mike here.
I
Okay,
don't know where
that's,
you're at.
that's
but
good.
I agree.
2, this is correspondence from Josh and Carrie Curtis dated January the 4th. And they're requesting to upgrade north end of Leach Road. Be it resolved that the correspondence from Josh and Carrie Curtis dated January 4th, 2022, request to upgrade north end of Leach Road be received. And further, we need council direction, but I would imagine refer this one as well to Public Works Manager for a report back. Sherry?
But just going to make the motion that we refer this on to Public Works for a report back to
Okay.
council.
All right, second. Counselor Booth. Any further comments or questions?
Worship, maybe through to Troy. Is this not the second request now for, I remember something, was there not something on South Leach Road that was done a few years ago?
Yes, there's already been one road extension on that road, so this would be the second one, so. Yeah,
This
so
is at
they,
the north, this is at the north though,
yeah,
right?
yeah, so they'll go through the same process with Brian, and Brian will bring to council, the application, a report and stuff like that, so we've done this process before, so we just pass it on to Brian, our manager of Public Works, and he, along with Jennifer, will bring a report to council.
Okay, thank you.
So do we leave it to him to contact Mr. and Mrs. Curtis that it's in process?
I personally would leave it with Brian. That way he can have site meetings
Yep.
and start the process. So, yes.
Okay, that's great. All in favor? Three, this is correspondence from the Township of James. Be it resolved that the correspondence from the Township of James dated December 16th, 2021, support of the municipality of Matisse Valcote's resolution pertaining to property assessment be received, and further council direction is required here. I'm not very good at French, obviously. Just to receive and file. MPACs. And we already know that we won't have this till 2024.
This is the longer we put it off, just means that in 2024, the taxpayer is going to get really whacked, right? It's, to me, is the same as putting off electricity, when the provincial government's involved with holding the electricity and everything and not paying, we're not paying our full amount, and then eventually it's going to catch up to us. I mean, we can receive and file. I like the idea that they're asking for it to, let's get back to reality and pay what we should be paying, but I'm open to everybody else. And file.
Second? Being on this as well. All in favor? This is the correspondence from Grafton Green Thumbs. Be it resolved that the correspondence from Ralph Bussey, co-president Grafton Green Thumbs, received December 10th, 2021. Proclamation be received, and further that council direction is required. Could I have a mover, please? Sari? Nursery Landscape Association, and he's asking that we do a proclamation in acknowledging the Year of the Garden. Second?
You can spell it and I'll help you with it if you spell it.
Councilor Bruce, seconded by Deputy Mayor Gibson, that we support this proclamation, and we'll have our acting clerk bring that forward at our next meeting. Does that work for you, Pat? favor? Carried. 5. This is a list of correspondence. I'll read them all out that we will receive and file. Be it resolved that the following correspondence be received and filed. The Ministry of Transportation response to support of the City of Vaughan's resolution regarding young and novice drivers. And the Minister of the Environment, Conservation and Parks dated December 23rd, 2021, Minister's annual report on drinking water 2021 and 2021-20-21 Chief Drinking Water Inspector's annual report. And the County of Northumberland dated December 15th, 2021, Public Works Committee resolution on GO expansion business case study. And Ganaraska Region Conservation Authority dated December 8th, 2021, Ganaraska Region Conservation Authority transition plan. And the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing dated December 22nd, 2021, re-extension of the emergency orders and provincial response to the Omicron variant. And the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing dated January 7th, 2022, Omicron variant of COVID-19 testing and isolation guidelines and emergency work deployment order 0.reg 157-20. I have a mover, please, to receive and file these. Deputy Mayor Gibson, second. Councillor Philp, all in favor? Carried. We're on item 13, and this is our bylaws. And the first one, 13.1, being a bylaw, be it resolved that bylaw number 01-2022, being a bylaw to provide for the levy and payment of taxes, be read and deemed to be passed this 13th day of January, 2022. Have a mover, please. That's the interim tax levy. Second, Councillor Hogg. Comments or questions? All in favor? 13.2. Be it resolved that bylaw number 02-2022, being a bylaw authorizing the borrowing of money to meet current expenditures of the council of the Corporation of the Township of Almac-Haldeman for the year 2022 be read and deemed to be passed this 13th day of January, 2022. Can I have a mover? Deputy Mayor Gibson, second. Second. Councillor Booth, all in favor? Carried. 13.3. Be it resolved that bylaw number 03-2022, being a bylaw to set remuneration and expenses for members of council and to council members on local boards and or committees of council, be read and deemed to be passed this 13th day of January, 2022. Have a mover, please. Councillor Hogg. Second. Councillor Booth, all in favor?
Your worship, to either Pat or Troy. So these numbers for the remuneration, is that the cost of living is what is reflecting those numbers, or how did they come about with those?
So the treasurer prepared this for us, and yes, I believe it does include the cost of living.
So it is the cost of living, not include, right? Okay. I just wanted to figure out where they came from, the exact numbers, when you're starting to talk about, 35 cents or this or that, I guess it's a calculation. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Item 13.4, bylaw number 04-2022. Be it resolved that bylaw number 04-2022, being a bylaw to appoint a committee of adjustment in the Township of Alnwick Haldeman for the year 2022 for the Municipal Council of the Township of Alnwick Haldeman, be read and deemed to be passed this 13th day of January 2022. Have a mover, please. Deputy Mayor Gibson, all in favor? Five, bylaw number 08. Be it resolved that bylaw number 08-2022, being a bylaw to designate a land and premises under the Ontario Heritage Act for the Banks House, part of Lot 16, Concession 3, Township of Alnwick, now in the Township of Alnwick Haldeman, be read and deemed to be passed this 13th day of January 2022. And this is the historical designation that we were approving. Could I have a mover, please?
I can move that, your mayor.
Boggs, second by Deputy Mayor Gibson. All in favor? Six, this is bylaw number 13-2022. And what we're going to have to do with this bylaw now is defer it and have staff be asked to renew and review and bring back to council with options pertaining to the unexpected insurance increase. And, it may delay it if we're waiting for Mr. McGlennon to get us more information. So I'll just need a motion then to defer this bylaw. Motion to be it resolved that bylaw number 08-2022 be deferred until there's further staff reports. Have a mover? Second? All in favor? Carried. Okay. Are there any announcements or notice of motions? I don't have any at this time. Deputy Mayor Gibson?
I'm going to let Troy go first.
Oh, right, Troy. He told me I was supposed to let him into the bylaw.
All right, well, thanks for letting me jump in here. I do have an announcement to make, and it is regarding our new municipal treasurer. I'm pleased to announce that Nicole Leach Bynum will be joining the township as municipal treasurer starting January 31st. So Nicole brings over 25 years of experience in both public and private sector of financial experience. So I'm excited to have her on board. And as said, she'll start January 31st. So I will send all of council, and it'll be on social media, right away stating that. And I'll send council all her contact information and stuff. So, but anyways, just wanted council and public to know that we have a new municipal treasurer. So sad to see Carol go. I'll miss Carol. But I'm excited for Carol and her future. So we'll welcome Nicole, and she's joining a good team. So I look forward to it.
Good. Thank you very much. We look forward to starting out with Nicole as well. And okay, now I'll start the announcements and notice of motions again. I thought of something I do have, Sherry, first. I'm just wondering, Troy, Roseneath Revitalization, they've always ordered quite a few geraniums from one of our local businesses. And if that's going to be changed to perennials or whatever decisions the parks are going to make, I think we really need to let her know that quickly so she doesn't order those flowers in expecting them to be purchased, in all fairness. And if we want some for the ACC, which we usually do, we could let her know that at least.
Yep,
Okay,
I'll take care of that.
thanks. Okay, Deputy Mayor Gibson?
Nothing today, thank you.
We did our reading, we did our math.
Okay. Councillor Phillip?
There we go. I'll try to get through this without getting kicked out. Deputy Mayor Gibson and I attended the library board meeting this week, and I'm just going to touch on the headline. First of all, Carol Heffernan is a new hire to the library, and her training will and her orientation has begun, and they're very enthusiastic about what she can bring to the library. As far as budget goes, it's currently balanced, and there's a slight surplus, so that is going well. The kids reading book club that has been going on has been very well received, and we got lots of good feedback on that. The ugly Christmas sweater went well, and if you check on Facebook, you can see some pretty ugly sweaters. The curbside or COVID update is that that there were a lot of boards that have gone back to curbside pickup, but our library board and our library is not one of them, and so libraries have remained open. Tricia is spearheading the programming committee, and it looks like we're going to have a yearly calendar there of events so that we can plan forward, and we're pleased to see that. Really, those are the high points of the meeting, and my final comment is that it was a very efficient meeting and very well run, and I'm very pleased to be part of that board. So that completes my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing at this time.
Councillor Hogg?
I have nothing at this time.
Okay. I would just like to add at this time, thank you to council and staff and our committees for the work we accomplished through 2021. We actually got a lot of work done, and I think that the council and staff should be proud of our accomplishments. So I just wanted to tell all of you that, and perhaps Troy, you could pass that on. Thank you. Item 15, we're going into a closed session. Following the adjournment of the regular council session of Thursday, January 13th, 2022, the Council of the Township of Alnwick-Haldeman will be holding a closed session in accordance with Section 239, 2B and K of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended to discuss personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, and to discuss a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by on behalf of the municipality or local board, with the CAO, acting clerk, and deputy clerk remaining in attendance. Item 16, confirming bylaw for this meeting, bylaw number 11-2022. Be it resolved that bylaw number 11-2022, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the regular council session held on Thursday, January 13th, 2022, be read and deemed passed this 13th day of January 2022. Could I have a mover, please? Deputy Mayor Gibson, second. Counselor Hogg, all in favor? Carried. Motion to adjourn the regular meeting at 1:59 PM. Mover, Counselor Hogg, second. Counselor Booth, all in favor? Carried. Okay, thank you. We'll go to this and be back at 2.